Nice. Nice. Very, very calm today. A very calm energy. You bring a very calm energy into the room. This is going to be interesting. Whenever we get the opportunity to gather with you all and look at your energy fields and help you transform blocks and help you move out of the habitual responses you're in into more conscious experiences. Whenever that occurs, we feel very blessed. We feel like we've been given a gift. We feel like we've been given an opportunity for our own experience of growth, for our own personal, what you would call personal development. So this isn't a one-way street, is what we're saying. This isn't a only giving out. We receive from you as well. Part of what we receive from you is an energetic check-in. It helps us to see how the light workers are moving through the energies that are currently available. It helps us to see the transformations that are going on. It helps us to watch how things ripple through you as you get triggered and as you experience yourself. It helps us so that we can tailor our teachings and tailor our message and come up with new tools and new support. For not just you that are here today, but for all of the people who are following along online. You stand here as folks that are aligning your free will with the idea of what can we learn today? What's available to us today? What's the opportunity that is presenting now? So as we sit here together, before we start taking your questions, just breathe into not what's going to happen, but I am here. I am here. This is my choice. I did decide this. I am here now. I am ready to release, to move, to transform. And there's no thing after those, release, move, transform. It's just an act of release, transform, move that we want you to be focused on. I am ready to. I am ready to. Ah, good. Okay, so who's first? There's a nice chair right there for you. Mr. Tony. It's been a while?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. We trust you know all about microphones, so you adjust that so that we can hear you well on the recording. Yeah, as long as it points at your mouth, we have found. Ah, that'll be good. We bet. Want a piece of chocolate?
No.
All right.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh, we forgot to say something earlier. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Plus, you're a liar. You're not doing well. We wouldn't have used that word. If you don't want us to touch you, you have to tell us, right? You're sitting in the chair is assumption that we're going to touch you, and you've given permission for that. And we're not doctors. We're not doing any medical stuff here. We're looking at your energy, okay? So don't be mistaken about that. You need a doctor, go to the doctor. You need your energy looked at, like Mr. Tony. You're in the right chair, mister. What the hell? We're going to let you say words.
Okay. Well, I have an issue on my right side with my shoulder. Mm-hmm. And it's been going on for probably, 6 weeks or something like that. Mm-hmm. And just want to know what's going on underneath. Mm-hmm. Get a little tingling in my hand.
Mm-hmm. You have a heavy heart, mister. Your heart is heavy today. Breathe and close your eyes and just be here right there. Your heart feels heavy. We don't know exactly why. You know, shoulders are all about carrying the load, right? The load of your life, right? We're on the same page? Right side of your body. If this hurts, you tell us, right? Because that's the thing we don't know about.
Okay.
We don't know when it hurts. We only know the energy
only
needs.
A little.
Okay, good. All right. If it starts to hurt more than you want, you got to say something.
Okay.
The right side of your body. Did you just start being hot as we're working on you, or were you?
Actually, just now.
Yeah, you're very clammy.
Yeah.
That's not unusual, so it's okay. Okay, the right side of your body is all about going forward, masculine, moving into the world, getting shit done. That's the right side of the body. Left side of the body, feminine, receiving, coming in, being. This is doing, right? Being, doing. Doing, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulder.
Right.
Are you surprised you have a right shoulder problem? Like, if you were going to have a problem in any part of your body, that's the part that we would say is the problem.
Right.
Right? So this is, what we're saying is, because we know his backstory, this is not an unusual thing, right? It's not that it's unexpected. You know, if you go out and run a marathon, chances are you're going to be tired. Well, if you're doing an energetic marathon, chances are your body's going to respond to that too. It's just a factoid here. Factoid, right? So in your life, with your situation that we know very much about because we talk to your wife almost every week, right. The weight of the world on your shoulder, right there where you're trying to get it out into the world, you're trying to move into the world, you're trying to be effective in the world, but it stops. It stops there, it doesn't flow, and then the weight just stacks up and stacks up and stacks up and stacks up.
That's not good.
No. You think? Glad you agree. All right. You're very clammy. You're a sweaty man right now. Are you nervous or is it just the energy? Okay, good. We're just trying to decide the best way to work on this. All right, so now you get to be our YouTube guinea pig. Okay. Because this tool, the YouTube people were like, how come you didn't show that in a video? We don't understand the tool. So they're not going to show your head, right? You're not going to show, and Veronica's like, don't show my titty either. So we got to fix that. Sure. Okay. She can't believe we said that out loud. Okay. So are we good, Mary? We got it? All right. All sorts of people from our last Sebastopol meeting asked us to put this on the internet. This is the wrist tool. Okay. Everybody who's been here before knows that they're loud. He didn't fail, Mary. He didn't know, and we were testing. This is one really good way. You see how we do this? Say, now. If we let go, quick learner. Good? Okay. All right. So that's our business. Okay. We're just going to keep doing this. All right. If we let go, you should let go. All right. Well, you should be letting go the whole time. Okay, fair enough. So as we look at what's going on with your energy field, what's happening is as you look into the world, you see a lot of limitation, hesitation, frustration, anxiety, that sense of not feeling effective, not feeling capable, not feeling like you can actually do it, right? Everybody else has, there's going around. So what happens is that as you try to bring that energy from your shoulder, actually it's from your heart. From your heart out through your shoulder and down through your arm. Good, you're staying relaxed. That's impressive. What happens is it gets caught up in here, and what we're trying to look to see if we can do is help you get it opened up just enough that it can flow. Because if it could just flow, you'd be all right. It's that it's stagnant that's causing the big problem. The stagnancy is what is the big issue. Okay, you just really relax. You're good at dropping, but you're not, because this is so stagnant, you're not actually relaxing the whole way. Okay. See, that's not relaxed the whole way. See if you can relax it more. There, see how it drops? Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can do it a little bit more. There, it drops even more. See, this is the wrist tool. The wrist tool. You can kind of check in with yourself and see. Oh, that's helping. That's helping. See how much lower his hand is now? Because what's happening is the energy's finally moving a little bit. A little bit. Good. Good. Okay, we're going to lay you down right there. Try not to stiffen up because we need to work over here. So what happens here is that you approach the world, and you have a pretty big heart. You're a pretty big-hearted guy. You're not a marshmallow, we wouldn't say, but you're certainly not like, dude, like kind of like rough guy. You're a softer guy. You have you're a musician and you have a softer side to you. And that softer side to you is sort of being protected right now in confusion about how to let the softer side of you move in the world in a way that gets shit done. So the softness that you have in you that you really want to feel and the get shit done part of you, that's what's causing this conflict here in your shoulder.
Okay.
Like, I want to be the man I... Did you see it? Did you see how he pulled back? We're like, oh, we let go too soon. See? See how much higher the wrist is now? See if you can just let it drop. Let it drop, let it drop, let it drop. Let it drop from your shoulder. See if you can just...
It's a little uncomfortable to do that.
Yeah. But see, now his hand's going down again. That's good. But what you did is when we were talking about that, your body language was you pulled back.
Right. It was my shoulder.
Starting to be painful. Yeah. See, sometimes when these things get a little more advanced, then we have to deal with that. It's not just, oh, I think something's going on. It's something's, more going on. Right, yeah. And of course, your profession requires you to.
Oh, it's my flight arm.
Yeah, you got to definitely be busy with that arm too. So, and isn't that interesting? It's the arm that's sort of out there earning the living for you, right? Yeah. Right, and you actually emanate into the world using that arm. We talk about it all the time, but for you, with your profession, you're actually emanating into the world by making music with that arm. Right. So this is all a very good example. Just trying to think. Okay, so the real thing we see going on with you here is that you have this tenderness, and you have this, I want to get shit done. And in between is congestion. So we're looking to see what we can do here to help you with that. Part of what we want to say, Tony, is that you don't have to there's an outcome you're looking for. That accomplishment, that having what you want, taking care of your family, outcome that you want, that you are swallowing a part of your truth to think that you're going to get it. And then you don't get it, and so the cost is that you've swallowed a part of your truth.
Okay.
But you don't get the result you want. So then it's like you double kick yourself. You kick yourself for swallowing your truth, and you kick yourself for not getting what you thought it was going to give you. Like, you guys are sometimes willing to give up some of your truth if you think it'll get you something, but then when it still doesn't get you something, it's like, yeah. So how can you let that softer side of you show? You're an energetic mystery, that's for sure. Let me look over here on this side of you. We're looking for something and we're not finding it. This is interesting. You're a puzzle. You're a puzzle today, Tony. Why are you being such a puzzle?
Not intentional.
Wow, this arm's a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, wowie zowie, huh? That other arm is sort of screwed up, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you talked to the doctor about that one?
Yeah, I've been to the chiropractor a couple of times.
And what's he saying?
He just does stuff that hurts.
No,
and it feels better after I leave there for a little while, and it comes in and out. If I relax, usually in the morning it feels pretty good after a good night's sleep.
Of not thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what it is. Less thinking needs to be happening. Less obsessing. Did you tell him about the notebook tool?
Yeah, I've watched her do the notebook tool.
We want you to do the notebook tool.
Okay.
Okay, so the notebook tool, for those of you who don't know, is you find the thing that's freaking you out the most. In your case, we don't know what word you put on it, but it's something around the fact that as a soft-hearted person, you don't know how to take a soft-hearted truth and put it into the world. Do you know what we're talking about when we say that? Can you feel into that at all?
Perhaps.
Yeah, it's not clear, is it?
No.
That's another way to say it. We're very rarely stumped for words, and you have a stump for words. It's an unusual experience.
Oh. Do I get a prize?
It's interesting. We don't especially enjoy this feeling.
I think so.
How can we say it in a different way, what we're seeing in you? Just a moment. When you approach a task, what we're sensing in you is there's a way that you want to do it and a way that you do it that you think is right.
Yeah, I can see that.
So let's say you were going to play you wanted to play a bit of music, right? Mm-hmm. We'll just pull it into something that's easier to see. You wanted to play a bit of music. The temptation might be to improv and just have fun. But you might be like, but I should practice this piece that's coming up, or I should practice this way.
Well, I'm going back and forth with that a lot right now.
Yeah. So there's a part in you that in your life in general, You have that, a more flexible, softer way. We keep saying softer, and it's not the right word, but we can't think of another one. A more gentle, softer, flexible, not rigid. Relaxed maybe is the word, but
Flexible's good, I think.
Flexible, maybe, right? Yeah. Way that you would like to approach the world. And then you have like the seeing, the knowing, the awareness that the world really functions as a lot of boxes with, provider, husband, father, making money, making sure that the things happen the way they've got to happen. There are a lot of boxes that you feel like you should be putting yourself into if you were really doing it right.
Right.
And that tension between I should be and I want to is what we're trying to identify in you. And we think part of the reason why we're sort of wordless about what we're seeing in you is because it's so like hidden. It's like fog because you've tried so many different ways of navigating this. And what we would say to you is just to back out of all that. A lot of this stuff you guys do, we just want you to back up and go, okay, try again, start over, do-overs, right? That's what you used to call it when you were kids. Let's have a do-over. And in your case, the do-over and the notebook tool, right? We stopped answering what the notebook tool was. So the notebook tool is to take something that you're all troubled by. And in your case, we want you to take that disconnect between how I would do it and how I think it should be done. How I would be a provider, how I would earn money this week, how I would go about, talking to the kids or talking to my wife, and how you kind of think that there's a box that you're supposed to be filling up. And there's an authenticity in you that you are aware of that other people don't get to see enough because it somehow, once it comes out of you, the emanation, it starts to try to fill boxes instead of just be what it is. So it'd be like a guy who wants to play music and feels like he has to play classical music when really he wants to play jazz. And you feel like, well, classical music is the way I have to do it because that's the way I've been shown it's supposed to work. And when I play jazz, I feel like I'm screwing off or not being responsible. That's that funny. Yeah. Right? I feel like I'm not being responsible if I'm off playing jazz. And off playing jazz doesn't mean like, oh man, I'm not home and the family's there by themselves because I'm off screwing around. It's, am I allowing myself to express the truth of me in this experience without being attached to how it's going to be received, what the outcome is it's going to create, how people are going to see it, is it going to be what people think I should do?
Right.
There's a disconnect there for you.
Kind of is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're having a hard time describing it because you're not very clear about it either. Like we're both very nebulous about this because you've hidden it. It's as if you had a little ball and you covered it with cotton. And then you look at the cotton and you're like, I think there's a ball in there someplace. And we're trying to tease away the pieces of cotton so we can both look at the ball.
Well, it totally makes sense. I mean, that I do have both sides of the equation going musically, so I'm sure I have both sides of it going in everything else that I do too. Because when I play, mostly what I do for a living, which is classical music, there's definitely a set way that I feel like I have to do it, and it's been successful for me. So, I do it that way. But then on the other equation, now it's like I'm trying to putting that way of thinking, trying to put that way of thinking into playing jazz, which is totally.
Oh gosh, you've done it. That's exactly what we've been trying to see. Whew, see how deep this one was? You're trying to play jazz as a classical musician instead of play jazz as a jazz musician.
Right.
And you're trying to live in the same way.
Ah.
You see? Trying to be a dad, trying to be a husband, trying to be a provider in the same sort of way. And we don't exactly know how to say to you the way completely out of this, but we do know that if you wrote down, and you might take a notebook where you open it up, right, and you have 2 pages, and at the top of one page you write how I think I should do it, and on the other page you write how I want to do it, or how I wish I could do it, or how I would do it if I had no responsibilities.
Or how I feel I should do it, maybe.
Yeah. And just see when you're in that 2 different places at the same time within you. Because what that is there's the get shit done hand, and there's the be my truth heart, and that right shoulder is just right in the middle of them.
Right. Oh, that sort of let something go there, actually. Shoulder actually feels better. That's good.
Yeah. So do the notebook.
Okay.
Right? Really. You saw how much it helped her,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
so do the notebook
amazing.
for at least a week. Really commit to it.
Okay.
Do the notebook and see where at the end of a week you can step back and look at those pages and see how when you're in an experience, you know there's a choice, but you don't feel like you can make a choice. That's the problem. You know you can make. You know there's a choice to be made. Quite enough awareness of this dynamic and airtime for it to be worked out.
Right.
So you be sensitive to that. He needs a little more time. You know, you would give it to the kids if they needed it, and you've learned how the kids operated a different rhythm than you. So you operated a different rhythm, and this is this is a muscle to exercise. But the great thing about this, and we're going to talk more about the notebook tool just because we know we haven't really explained it well enough yet. But the great thing about this is it makes you so aware of the underlying crap that's going on in your life that's really actually you living. You're living from the underlying and it can be that thing that you obsess about all the time. It can be the fact that you just have obsessive thinking in general. Another person wrote to us and told us that the way they were using the tool is they had a little timer, and every time the timer went off, they wrote down what they were thinking about. And the shocking thing was how often they were thinking about what other people were thinking about them. So, yeah. So what you want to do is in your notebook, either pick the thing that you obsess about. The other day, Veronica decided to write in the notebook that day about limitation. So anytime she felt a sense of limitation or found herself thinking limiting thoughts, she wrote it down. So you don't have to do the same thing every single day. But if you've got a big issue, do your big issue until it really shifts, right? Which sometimes takes like a week. So you take your opportunity to have your notebook, and there's two important things about the notebook tool. The first important thing about the notebook tool is this. You want to be very, very consistent. So every time you have that thought, or every time the timer went off, or whichever way you want to use it, and we mean every time, you write in your notebook about it. And that discipline, because you're very, very, very used to ignoring this topic. That's why it's your big thing, right? That's why. You ignore it regularly. So when you force yourself to make a note about it every single time, you start breaking a long-standing pattern, okay? So you write down what's going on, and then you ask yourself the very important question, what is true now? Because what you want to know is not what the obsessive thought is. You want to catch the obsessive thought and then become aware of what's truly actually going on. And what's true now, don't get all heady about it. What's true now? I'm wearing white pants. What's true now? I'm in Sebastopol. What's true now? The fan is spinning, right? It doesn't have to be some big spiritual discovery. What we're trying to do is bring you into the moment, catch your obsessive thought, and then be aware of what's really going on that you would be experiencing if you weren't being obsessive, right? Because if we weren't obsessing right now about whatever we're obsessing about, we'd be spinning fan. Yeah, we'd be present. We'd be carpets on the floor. We'd be, most everybody's not wearing their shoes. All those things are really, really cool. And thinking the same thought that you've been thinking for the last 40 years another 6 or 7 times, instead of recognizing that the carpet feels good on bare feet, well, hell, can you see where your life is passing you by? Yeah? Is that a good enough explanation? Okay, next in the chair. Okay. No hesitation on your part. See how you do. Look at that. Yeah, we think that's going to work out.
Can I move it?
You can do whatever you want, so long as Mary says we can still hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? You're wearing socks. See? Being in the moment, right? You see how that works? All right. Talk to us.
Okay. Lots and lots and lots and lots of movement. Mm-hmm. I've been doing the notebook tool. Really, really fast change. And then more opportunity to work it harder came up. Mm-hmm. So that was good. That was really good piece of awareness. And I'm still just dealing with my body, dealing with my hip, which I'm told I have a torn SI joint right there, and inflammation in my knee. So it's it's causing me a lot of trouble. And I don't feel like I'm fully... The thing I'm writing about in my notebook is my body. And I got it the first time when I started writing. I got the correlation between kind of giving my body a hard time and it having difficulty. Yeah. So I have opportunity where I feel like I get better. I'm always better in the morning. And I feel like in some ways, I'm asking a lot of my body. I'm moving, or I just moved. I want to dance all the time. I can't dance very much.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough.
Okay.
Interesting that both of them said that they feel better in the morning. Did you guys both hear that? What's interesting is Veronica found her obsessive thoughts were the worst right when she woke up. From her nap and from sleeping, she had more to write in her notebook from the time she got off the couch and could walk across the room to pick up her notebook than she did for hours after that, right when she woke up. We have no idea how that all fits together. We're just reporting. See, this is a new tool. This is how we do it, right? We just report it, talk about it, look at your energy, talk some more, and then we'll dial it all in. You and this hip and this thing, when did you hurt your hip?
I hurt my back a year and a half ago. Apparently I tore some fascia in here, and then it spasmed, and apparently it tore, this is what I'm unfolding, the sacrum and the joint in here. And then this one caused the knee to go out.
Why, when you say your back, do you point at your belly?
Because it feels like it happened in the front of my back. Because it didn't really hurt back here. It felt like it happened in there, behind my guts. That's what it feels like it happened, right? Solar plexus, right there. But that was just the original thing. It's like it doesn't feel like that's so much of a problem, but now I have this problem,
Okay.
I could keep going.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a lot of sadness.
Yeah.
Jesus. How can you be that sad? And such a smiley person. God damn, that's a lot of sadness. Ooh, you're going to make Veronica cry.
You make me cry too.
Go right ahead. There's tissue right over there. We spied out the box. Considering last month everybody cried as soon as they sat down, we started off with a guy who didn't cry, but go right ahead if you need to.
It's all good. I cried about it a lot already.
There's so much sadness there.
It's like family.
Yeah. There's so much sadness there. There's... It you know what's interesting is the energy of it is that the action that we feel desired to take, but we can't, of course, because you and Veronica are about the same size, and that'd be uncomfortable. But we want to hold you like a baby. You know, that's the energy of that. It's like you just want that, you know, that rocky like a baby, it's going to be okay thing. So we're going to pretend, you have to just pretend that we are doing that, because energetically that's what we're doing. But physically that's a bit much for Veronica to handle. But that's what you're asking for, you know? You're asking for that sense of being held like a baby. And there's something in there about being bathed as a baby or being baptized as a baby. Were you baptized as a baby?
I'm sure, probably.
Yeah, because there's something about like being in water as a very small baby. We're not sure how that fits in, but this idea of this deep, 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 deep core sadness, this sense that...
I've traced that line back, like generations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's deep for you.
Yeah.
We're not hurting you, are we?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
There's
No, it already feels better, actually.
There's... What we're getting here is that as you just thick. As you feel into the truth of you and you feel into wanting to be a grown-up woman and go out and take on the world and not have to rely on people to take care of you, right? You want to take care of yourself. You want to be in community and partnership, sure, but you want to be able to take care of yourself. There's a part of you that's still saying, I can't. What if I can't? What if I don't make it? What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in this housing situation that's very mobile and you're, striking out on a new phase in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not surprised this has flared up in you. We're really not surprised this has flared up because
both physically moving and the instability and the for me it just keeps going back to this family thing. So I don't know how much of that is my own head.
Well, the sadness thing is absolutely it's lodged in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that we look at when we look at you and your family is the sadness that you experience, the sadness that you feel. You're longing for another time. And in this, you're really longing for those days that you were an infant. You're really longing for that infant thing.
It's over here.
Where did they go? Oh, you put them there. Smart. Your body is longing for the I don't have to do it so much as the infant feeling. And you want that really embraced and loved feeling that you wanted. Now here we go, right? That you wanted as an infant and you didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
That you wanted and didn't get as an infant.
It's so old that I don't really know how to access that.
Yeah.
Except for sometimes, I can access it sometimes, but I can't fully get it.
Yeah. And we're going to tell you something right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way that you like to process that keeps you in familiar suffering. This isn't something you get. You don't have to access. You don't have to go back there. You don't have to revisit.
I believe you.
But we've talked about that before with you, right?
I know.
And you've seen that we were right.
Yes.
We don't often go, we are right. But in this one, we're going to give you, we are right, because we don't, this is shit here.
Yeah.
This is too hard.
Yeah.
This is too much.
Mm-hmm.
So we're right about this. You don't have to go back to that.
Right.
What you have to do is say, fact, fact, fact.
Mm-hmm.
Fact, as an infant, I wanted embracing by my family.
Mm-hmm.
Fact, I didn't get as much as I wanted. Fact, I would love to be embraced by a partner, a lover, a companion, my community. I'd love to be embraced as an adult by my family. Yeah, right? I'll take that. Like, if I only get one, I'll take that even, right? So that sense of, I'm looking for something, and your old process is to say, I can't have it because I didn't get it, so therefore I can't have it unless I try to re-tap into it, and it just clogs up, and this is icky. Yeah, it don't work.
Right.
So what we'd like to see you do is when this flares up, when your hip and your knee and this whole kind of experience that you're in triggers off in you, just let yourself make those factual statements. I wanted more love as a child. Just, it's true. I wanted more love as a child. And be careful what you put past that period. Mm-hmm. We call this short factual statements for a reason, right? Short and factual. And statement, which means a period, not a, I wanted more love as a child, and I didn't get it, and my sisters, and my mom, and this, and that, and, right? Because the ands,
right.
That's what screws you up. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing for your notebook, right? I wanted more
getting
love
it.
as a child.
Been doing it for 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And watch what wants to come after.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing needs to come after. That's the beauty.
Right.
It can be, I wanted more love as a child. Now I'm doing the dishes. I wanted more love as a child. Ooh, I need to wash the car. I wanted more love as a child. I need to go buy groceries. Right? The taking care of yourself. And not taking care of yourself based on how it would be if you had gotten that love. Mm-hmm. Or how I would be a different person if my sisters called me more often, or whatever kind of head trip you're running. Mm-hmm. It's taking care of yourself because taking care of you has to happen. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is the fact of I wanted more love as a child and the fact of I can take care of myself don't commingle. They're both existing and being real independently of each other. It's that dividing up that you need to do.
Okay, so the one piece where I'm
Yep, go ahead.
a little, I can feel what I want to say is, yeah, I wanted more love as a child, but what part of me wants to say, and then I'm not sure, it's like, no, actually I wanted less trauma. I wanted less abuse as a child. So,
but see, that's the survivors. That's the
Where
survivor.
it gets...
That's the I've already been knocked down a few times, and I'm only going to ask to be knocked down less, rather than I'd rather have love.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not looking into the world for people who knock you down less. You're looking in the world for people who love you, and love your truthful emanation. Yeah. It's not I only get beat up on Tuesdays, right? It's that I'm loved all the time. You see, we didn't say it's I don't get beat up at all. It's that I'm loved all the time.
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
So that underlying approach has been, I can take a certain amount. You know, Veronica calls this her approaching the world through resilience. So the way it shows up for Veronica has been, it doesn't matter what happens because I'm resilient. You've got a little bit of that in you too. So I'll just be resilient.
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't matter if, it doesn't matter
Right.
when, it doesn't matter because I can be resilient through it. And we were like, how about instead of saying I can handle it, I'll use my resilience to handle when it all goes to shit. How about you say, I'm ready for it to follow in a path that I can see as my first choice. This is where the is my first choice tool comes in.
Which I've been using a lot too.
Yeah, we can see where that one would be good for you.
Yeah.
I can see this experience as my first choice rather than seeing this experience as something I'll be resilient about.
And I can see really brilliantly how what my choices, they manifest one after another. It's just brilliantly amazing. Yeah.
So let's make a different choice here.
This is where I'm stuck.
This
So
is
that's why that's my notebook.
Yeah, this is to help you see
Yeah.
that even as you just said, this is where I'm stuck.
Yeah.
How about this is where I've been stuck,
Yeah.
right? So let's not assume that that stuck is in this moment
anymore.
because maybe it's not. It might be later, but is it now? That's where the what is true now thing part has to come in, right? That statement, you saw her go, but I'm stuck.
Yeah.
It's like, has that been
There it is
questioned?
again. Yeah.
Has that been questioned?
Yeah.
We don't think so. Not in this moment. So you made a declarative statement that sounded like it could be your truth, but we don't think it's energetically true in this moment. So you have to be really careful not to repeat declarative statements that aren't true right now.
Yeah.
Because if it's not true right now and you tell yourself you are, then
you wouldn't, yeah.
it's hard to change.
Got
Let's
it.
just say it that way,
Totally
right?
got it.
Little stucky
Totally
if you
get it.
stucky. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah. She moves pretty easily for someone with a whatever SI and knee and back. And basically she's got this whole like list of symptoms, but she gets up and springs out of the chair and she's sitting on the floor. So let's check in with that. Is it true now? Next. Hello there.
You're on body stuff.
Oh, well, we're always on body stuff when we come to Sebastopol. Y'all and your body stuff in this
Is
town.
that good? Okay. Mine's the left shoulder. I went and got it pounded on by a massage therapist.
That sounds lovely.
It wasn't.
We didn't think so.
And it's better, but it's, it's still there, and I can feel like it's still there. It's getting pounded on. It didn't work.
Where is she? You. See how this works? I went to take care of myself and got pounded on.
Yeah, it was brutal. I won't
Yeah.
be coming back to her.
But you see how that works? Can you feel that underlying energetic? It's like, I'm going to go take care of myself. I go to someone, they pound on me. I might be better, Maybe she moves her elbow or her shoulder very gingerly. I think it could have helped. We'll get to your shoulder in a minute. We're going to back you out of this. How about we make short factual statements? Instead of what we just did, let's practice short factual statements, okay? We'll do one, then you do one.
Okay.
My shoulder hurts, period. Now what's yours?
It doesn't hurt all the time.
Period. You got to say the period.
Period.
Yeah. You say the period because that tells your brain you're not doing obsessive thoughts, you're doing new thoughts. We trick the brain like that, okay? I went to have it worked on by a massage therapist, period.
And she worked very deeply, period.
Okay. Oh, it's our turn, huh? Okay, just a moment. It's still bothering me, period.
I have the thought that it's not better.
Period. Yeah. And what's this word betrayal flying out of you? Yeah. We're like, ooh, she's going to say, I feel betrayed. And you didn't say it, but your body did. It was like, whoa, I feel betrayed. You feel betrayed by this woman.
I thought she would really, really be able to help me and be with me, and she just pounded on me. Period.
If we're remembering correctly, wasn't there some person with a penis that you had a similar kind of dynamic with some time ago that you told us about a while back?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw him again, and he did it again. Period.
Yeah. But you did it again, right? We can't give power over.
I had to make sure.
Yeah. You had to double check on that creation. All right, well, that's a whole story that we might have to get into. Let's see. What's interesting to us is that your relationship with the massage therapist screams the same energy as the relationship with the dude.
Really?
It's that same pattern. It's, I went to you because I trusted you. I went to you for support, care, love. I went to you so my life would get better. And you pounded on me. Now, you didn't say she did deep tissue work. You didn't say she...
I had to tell her to stop 4 different times because it was too much. I can take a lot.
Oh, what is it about you women?
And
you guys are friends. We don't say I can take a lot. No.
Sometimes it's good. Some that hurts so good thing, but there's limits.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing when you say I can take a lot, it's this I will be resilient thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm really resilient.
We really thought this was just a Veronica thing. Oh, we're probably going to have to do a whole thing about this now.
I'm getting all hot.
Yeah, we can tell. It's all, you're pink. We really thought this was just sort of a Veronica thing, but apparently it's not. This I will live from my resilient place. Is this a woman thing?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it a man thing?
Might be a human thing. I don't know.
A little bit? Okay, maybe it's a human thing. I will live from my resilience? Okay, we're going to have to fix that. Because you know what's wrong with I will live from my resilience? You're always looking for the world to screw you over. You expect to get screwed over and then have to overcome the screw over.
No, it's really...
What?
So I met this really great guy, and we're getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And there's part of me is like, oh, but how do I know he's really telling the truth?
Yeah.
How do I know he's really who he says he is?
Yeah.
Because
of the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Okay, that's your notebook thing, right? There's a good notebook thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to only notebook about one thing, but you can kind of drive yourselves crazy sometimes, right? Notebooking about too many things. And sometimes you do one for 2-3 days and then switch to another one, right? Because what we're doing with the notebook is trying to break habitual thinking. Catch yourself, catch yourself, catch yourself. Obviously, if you're thinking about the new guy and he's bringing up thoughts of the old guy, that's a great thing to notebook about. Because what is true now? I'm thinking about the old guy. What is true now? I'm still wounded by that. And I want to move on.
And it's not just, it's the lineage
Yeah.
that represents.
So it's only fair to the new guy that you give him a chance to be his truth with you.
Yeah.
And that is the way you get to be your truth too, is you make permission for others in your life to be their truth. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't want him dragging a bunch of old patterns in and trying to compare you to them. I mean, you do this no matter what. Everybody does it. But you got to watch that you're only doing it a healthy amount and not doing it as a way to be resilient, a way to defend yourself before you get hurt, to work up a callus, right? Like you get on your hands when you work with the tools. I'm just going to worry about this until I've got a nice big callus there. So when he does something, it doesn't get inside and really affect me. So let yourself be aware. Catch yourself. There I am. There I am thinking about the old guy when I have the opportunity to think about the new guy. And I'm going to give him the opportunity to tell me his truth. And what is
and
true?
Believe him. And believe him.
Well, you know what? The believe him thing, especially with dudes, you know, the proof is in the pudding, right? Guys, you go by their actions. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what it's been told? Right? Women, you all know that. Women like to talk, men like to act. For generalization, but it's pretty true. So you watch his actions too. Mm-hmm. Don't just believe his words. Watch his actions. That's something that's been slippery in the people that we've worked with, the women that we've worked with. They listen to words and they're used to communicating verbally with other women mm-hmm. and having that mean what they think it means. Then they hear words out of men's mouth that to the man mean something completely different, but you don't know that because they're talking man talk, not woman talk. Mm-hmm. Watch how he acts because that you can count on. That's man speak. Mm-hmm. Actions. Right? So you give yourself enough time. You don't rush ahead. You don't be in outcome. You don't be in tomorrow. You don't be in next week, next year, next decade. Today, right now, drinking coffee or tea, looking him in the eye, watching his actions. Does he call when he says he's going to call, right? Mm-hmm. That sort of stuff. That's how men talk to you and tell you their truth, by their actions. What is this new one Veronica was just talking to somebody about? That when a man says, I'll call you soon?
It's totally different than when a woman...
Soon is one of those words that if it depends upon your genitalia as to your interpretation of what that word means. Right? So you got to be really careful that you're not using woman speak to talk to a man. Someday maybe we'll all be conscious enough that we can just communicate telepathically. We're not there yet, which is good because you have all those obsessive thoughts that you don't want anyone else to know about anyway. So we got to get those out of the way, and then, you know, you can have more telepathic communication, and we're thinking it'll be a little cleaner for you guys because there really is a different way that men see the world than women. Or masculine rather than feminine. We don't want to be specifically about genitalia here, but there are a couple different primary ways people experience being human. And when you try to mix those two, the words don't always convert. Yeah. Okay? So, back to your shoulder. Let's take a quick look at that. What we want to say to you is that when you go to have somebody help you with anything and you have to say no, stop, no, that's a real sign about everything that who you are authentically, truthfully being in that moment isn't being respected. Now, the massage therapist was a great script holder and she showed you the opportunity to say no. At least you said no, stop. That's a great step. But there's a part of us that wants to say, okay, at some point were you going to say, okay, let's work on a different part of my body because that's had enough?
That's how I said it.
Yeah.
Like that's
enough.
That's enough.
That's enough. And there's something really powerful for you and the words, that's enough. Because you don't have to be able to take it. Right?
Yeah.
That's been like a badge of honor. I'm able to take it. Brownie button. There's some other ones in the room that have that one too. I'm able to take it. Or I'll be resilient through it. Or you may kick me, but I won't stay down. And that's kind of a self-identity. And what we'd rather see your self-identity being, what is my truth? My truth is this hurts like hell. She's beat on me long enough. I'm done. That's enough. That's enough. Let's do something else now. Right? And it's okay to say that earlier. You don't have to tough it out. You can gently heal as well. Mm-hmm. You can gently heal. So what we'd like you to do with your shoulder is allow yourself to feel when you sense these, this resiliency thing, just put your hand on your shoulder and just say, we can gently heal. I'm going to gently heal. This is going to heal in a gentle way, through gentle touch, through gentle processing of energy, whatever words you like. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of put your arm out in whatever comfortable position you have and just imagine your heart, which is your truth, right? emanating, and feel it or visualize it or pretend if you have to. Just feel your emanation moving down your arm and out the palm of your hand. Just let that happen. So when you feel a tinge of that pain, let that happen. Let that happen. And then pay attention to what that brings up. Pay attention to what that brings up. Okay? Because it's probably going to bring up a sense of, am I really allowed to do it the easy way? Or is it okay to do it the easy way? Or I should do it faster, or it should happen better or different. Like just accepting your natural rhythm doesn't feel like something that you're really comfortable doing. Accepting your natural rhythm.
It's new for me. It's
Yeah.
really new.
Yeah.
Lots of reasons it's new.
So that would be a good exercise for you to accept your natural rhythm. Accept your natural rhythm. This is my natural rhythm. It's a gentle. You're very gentle. You have a very gentle energy inside of I gotta take care of everything, and I gotta make sure it's okay, and I've gotta be resilient, and I've gotta.
Yeah.
Frenetic. But that's not really who you are.
No.
So we use this to kind of crack open and get that flowing in that arm. All right?
Okay.
You can always look at it some Wednesday when you come along. Or it'll be all better. We like that idea. Look at that. Who's next? Don't hesitate. This opportunity passes up. Hello.
Hello.
Are you set?
I'm set. I don't even want to say anything. Just go for it.
Oh, you have to say something.
Okay. Well, I had an interesting meeting, and after the meeting, I had an interesting time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just curious about, the severity of the experience.
Mm. A little background.
Oh, for me?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
We're not allowed to chew with the mouth full.
Oh, yeah, I've gum too.
It's a rule.
Mm.
So that means we have to sit here and chew and chew and chew. All right. At our last Wednesday night meeting, we talked to Randy for an extended period of time because she is the one that helped us develop the notebook tool. The week before, we had given her the notebook tool in response to a long-standing obsession about money. How many times a day did you determine approximately you've caught yourself thinking about money things?
How many times a day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100 at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's an obsessive thought pattern, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, 100 times a day, you caught yourself thinking about money issues. And it's very clear that no matter what your money situation is, unless you're trading stocks for a living, you probably don't need to think about money 200 times a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing in the morning when I woke, like Veronica,
Yeah.
as soon as I woke up, cascading thoughts. And right before bed, cascading thoughts.
Yeah.
I dream about it.
Mm-hmm. So we gave Randy the notebook tool. That was 10 days ago. No, because we
it's
missed.
the week
It was
before
the 30th of
Yeah.
June. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So we gave that to you, and then we took the 4th of July off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came back on July 11th, and we sat down. You got to stand up and walk us through the experience of working with the notebook tool. And it was unbelievably powerful, right? You were there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Big. It's huge. So if you want to hear more about how the notebook tool can change your life big time, get that meeting from the 30th off the website. So after the meeting, some interesting things occurred in you, and you fell down and smashed your face into the cement. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the summary of how it went.
Yeah.
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 So now you have very interesting colors on your face,
Mm-hmm.
although it does seem to be healing
it's
very fast.
Yeah, it's actually
because that was on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're doing
It's going good with no
yeah.
pain.
Mm-hmm. That's really nice. And what was really interesting is the people who were still there when this happened, everyone gathered together and did a lot of healing and got ice packs and pain pill or whatever and bandages and all that stuff. And you got to really receive a lot of love. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that too.
Yeah. That idea of part of what Randy shared last week was that she had met a homeless woman and was working with her in various ways. And she also shared that previous to this moment, that had been one of her greatest fears, the idea that she would become homeless because of the money worries, right? She'd become homeless. And so you were helping the homeless woman, and you were giving a lot of love. And underneath that, what we feel was, okay, great. I see that being homeless, I could handle it.
Resilient.
Thank you. We're glad we didn't have to say it. Right?
Yeah.
But what you hadn't yet felt was, if I was homeless, someone would love me.
Well, Veronica said, that never happened. We'll never let that happen.
Yeah.
And I went, oh.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a side remark.
Yeah.
So I went, wow. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah. Underneath that feeling of, there was always the fear of, I could be homeless. Then you met the homeless woman who was kind of making it work, having the cheap hotel room, but not really making it work, but trying. Mm-hmm. And you thought, oh, well, we're going to put it into we're going to speak for you, and you tell us if we've got it right.
Sure.
But we're pretty close.
Okay.
We think, yeah. Okay, so here's the homeless woman, and you're thinking, there's my worst fear. Then you see that she's, got this cheap hotel room, and somehow she's holding it together. And underneath, you're thinking, God, I could do being homeless better than you do being homeless, right? If I were a homeless person, I could be a good homeless person, right? Yeah,
That's
okay,
of course. I'd move this around. I'd do this.
She's redecorating the homeless woman's cheap
get
hotel
rid of
room.
this stuff. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah. So then it's like, so being homeless isn't so bad.
It's right.
I could do this, right? So then it stops being quite as scary.
Yeah.
Which is like, all right, okay, it stops being quite as scary. But another part of you, so that's one track of thought, right? So that one's all taken. You've resilienced your way out of that one. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to go the deeper level. My greatest fear is being homeless. And my greatest fear is being homeless and not having resources, not having assets, not having skills, not having ability. And all of that you could probably still manage because you're a get shit done kind of woman. You could find a way. But the thing you couldn't guarantee inside of yourself is that I would be loved. I could lose everything and I'd still manage. But because of, how it was when you were a kid, there isn't that feeling of, there's a guarantee of love. There may not be a guarantee of money either. And I've managed that. But is there a guarantee of love? So you fall on your face and you hurt yourself. We do like to say fall on your face.
Yeah, no, I know. As my doctor said, you took a face plant.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Technical.
Yes. We haven't gotten to say to anyone before, you fell on your face. And
Literally.
Because we know you so well, we can just keep saying it until we're done because it's a new experience. You fell on your face and you felt immediate and rather extreme love.
Yeah.
From, a good quantity of people. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
everybody.
9, 10. 10 that we can think of right off the... Mary George even kissed you on the cheek.
I know. Yeah, it was
and
amazing.
petted you a little. Yeah, we saw it. We were there. So, abundance comes in many, many, many faces. Right? Has many faces. And a lot of times when you obsess about financial abundance, it's because really deeply you're so afraid that the other forms of abundance are out of reach. And for you as a child, there was no abundance of parental love. There was wasn't there.
Right.
And your I'll be resilient energy took the place of the honesty about, am I lovable? Am I loved? Am I going to be loved? And the worry about money filled up all the empty space, right?
Yeah.
So you crack open the worry about money, obsessive thinking using the notebook tool, and then you get to see a deeper level. Now, because you're who you are, you fall on your face to learn it. You're like, I'm not going to do that again. Okay, don't do that again.
Yeah.
But really, a few scrapes, a visit to the dentist later, look what you know. that you didn't know at 7:00 on Wednesday night?
Right. Oh, and yeah, I knew it was all good. I'm just getting validation about what I.
Oh yeah. No, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what's going on. So now are you doing your notebook tool some more?
Yeah.
And are you still doing it about money?
No, I'm doing it about the man that this gal was living with.
Yeah.
And I'm also was doing it a little bit about money coming in there. So a couple different things, actually.
And so when we sat down with you today, you said that about 100 times a day you caught yourself. How many times a day do you catch yourself keeping track of these 2 or 3 things you're keeping track of?
Oh, like 10. Yeah, money's about maybe 3. And actually when it comes up, it isn't what it ever, it doesn't have the intensity at all that it had before. And it's easier to say, oh, no, and then move on to something else. There's room for other things. And it took me, I like to write. So it took me, a couple of weeks to do it every day diligently. But I like carrying my notebook around and I like to write. But it doesn't take that long to have the shift. I mean, huge. Well, you know how I was, 3 weeks ago and how I am now. From that is completely to be able to help this homeless woman and give her money when I thought that I was strapped. And I'm like, I can give money anywhere, pretty much anytime. Now, my current experience hasn't been the flow that I would still like, but I'm open to receiving, and I'm also open to not having the static in the way.
And that's the thing, you have to be really careful. We would say we'd like you to dump those 2 words, the flow and the receiving words.
Okay.
Let's just not use those anymore.
Okay.
You specifically, and you guys, if you like this idea, take it yourselves. But for you, when you said flow and receiving, it was old Randy.
Okay.
So let's just not even involve that in the equation.
All right.
It's clear that everybody we've ever met thus far could use money and probably more money. So we don't have to talk, I want more flow, right? That's just a given. I need to breathe air.
Okay.
Fair enough? Until you're all billionaires, probably we don't have to have that. So let's just put that in I have to breathe air category.
Okay.
And I'm open to receiving makes it sound energetically like it's some magical thing that if you stand in just the right position, it'll happen, right? So let's not do that either. Let's just say I'm open to the truth of this. Because the truth is I need money to pay bills, buy food, and have fun, right? So that's a fact. And we'd like you to get into the space where that is as real as breathing. That's your goal. It's as real as breathing that you don't, and not, I need flow, I need flow, I need flow. As real as breathing, but it's just a fact. It's just a fact. You need to drink water, eat food, breathe. Those things happen. Money coming in the same category. Same category. And you don't think about breathing. You don't think about, is there enough air, right? It's just part of it. So instead of saying I'm flow and receiving, be in, I'm open to learn to unveiling the full truth of my relationship to this issue. I'm open to knowing what is true now about this at every moment. Isn't that much more fun than I'm open to receiving? Like I'm open to knowing my full truth about this in any moment.
And this being whatever
This
is
being
in the moment.
Yeah, this being, like when you were writing in your notebook, right? What we said to you is catch when you're being obsessive and ask yourself what is true now. That's really what you want about money and whatever else is bugging you, is to catch when you're being obsessive and know what is true now. The flow and receiving thing is so old energy and weird that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm open to knowing what's true now about this.
Okay. I can do that.
We know you can. So yeah.
Yeah.
And you get the badge of saying, I learned through falling flat on my face, which not everybody's got that one.
That's
so
true.
It's special. You could even draw it if you felt like it.
That's true.
What the I learned through falling flat on my face badge looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. There was really no downside. There's no pain. There was no downside. So, which was amazing in itself that this experience has no downside.
What did we?
Yeah. Thank you, Mary.
But what did we tell you guys? Bliss is a state with no opposite. So if you can learn by falling flat on your face and coming up with one less tooth and a bunch of scabs on your nose, that's what bliss is like. Now, you can say, but I thought bliss was bunnies and rainbows. We've told you for decades, the bliss is not bunnies and rainbows. Bliss is a state with no opposite, a state where this can happen and you can still be in fascination, growth, unfolding, awareness. Like, if we had said to anybody 8 years ago, by the way, you're going to fall flat on your face and knock a tooth out and not know what the hell's going on for 20 minutes. And that is going to be an experience that you're going to be able to have neutrally and actually find that there's no downside to it.
Yeah.
Right? No one would have come back. That would have been a great way to make sure no one ever came to see us again. Yet here it is.
Yeah.
So what we said instead was you're going to learn to be in a state that has no opposite, where you stop being in duality. Instead of it being bad or good, it is. And you can actually live in is. This is proof right here in front of your eyes. And she's not making it up because you can tell by her body language. She's like, right? If we did the wrist thing, she'd be like, it's hitting the floor each time, right? Because you're totally relaxed right now.
Yeah. Say, well, that happened.
Yeah. And it's not even, oh, that happened as much as that is, right? Because it's not that happened like, oh, I'll be resilient because that thing happened. It's that is.
Yeah, actually, when I was in the state of becoming conscious of what was happening after I fell and then I was laying down, and I started feeling my shoulders going, oh, I got to get Veronica home. I got to get up. I got to drive. I got to, and then just relaxed into everybody's taking care of it. I don't have to do anything. I can just experience this. So I just lay there and breathe. And it was fine. It was very interesting. It was fascinating. Yeah.
That's why we like that word fascinating, because it's not a word attached to anything with an opposite, right? It's not good, which goes with bad, or fun that goes with, boring. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Right? It's just fascinating.
Yeah. Even in a semi-conscious state, I was still being as conscious as I could be from the meeting and from all your tools that you give us and everything. It was, without it, I wouldn't have been able to be at this state. So I want to thank you for that, for sure.
You're welcome.
And the notebook and everything. I couldn't have shifted my relationship to money or my husband or anything without this information. You have to use it, though,
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a vacuum cleaner. You got to push it around the house every once in a while, or there's no point in owning one.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Go forth and sit down.
I'll see you Wednesday.
We'll be here Wednesday. Not here, but you know what we mean. We'll be there. Hi.
Hi.
We talked to you before.
Yes, it was really helpful.
Oh, that's good. You were having some kind of, what we were talking to you about, the men at Whole Foods, and we were telling you to go forth and talk to decide what you were judging them about without getting to know them. Wasn't that it?
And my heart being in the back.
Yeah. How'd that turn out?
Well, I've been looking at my actions a lot.
Yeah? And what does that
But
look
there's
like?
still questions.
Of course there are. Give forth question.
Well, it has to do something about the heart. And it's this, I feel like I have this ability to love some people, but not others.
Okay.
And
how do you feel about yourself when you come across a person that you don't feel like you can love?
there's some judgment.
About yourself. So you
Yes.
judge yourself. And
Yes.
what words do you use to judge yourself with?
You're being critical. You're being judgmental.
Go on.
Picky.
Ooh, picky. That's a good one. As if it's bad to be picky. Just hold that thought. Go ahead. Because, picky. We can't be resilient if we've been picky, right? Got to trade off. Yeah. We're teasing you a little bit.
It's okay.
But
I'm
you need
feeling
to-
very vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just shaking your tree a little bit. Sometimes we have to shake your tree to see what energetically pops out, right? And for you, what's really interesting is that you come up here and you say, sometimes there's people I love and sometimes there's people I don't. First assumption is that's not okay.
Yeah, I think there's more to it.
Whoa, yes, of course. Don't fear not. Fear not. So there's this idea of, but you have to look at the underlying judgments presented in the statement. Because energetically, we're peeling things away, right? So the first thing is, you said, sometimes there's people I can love and sometimes there's people I don't.
Okay, I'm going to be really honest.
Yeah.
Okay, it has to do with feeling like there should be more men that I'm attracted to.
Yes. Good.
And that I want to be with.
Nice.
And so then I question my heart.
Okay.
And I know that my heart has been a little hidden.
Yeah. Okay. So when we're just trying to help you see the underlying thing here. When you imagine that there should be more men, what percentage of men that you meet do you think that you should feel loving feelings toward?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You just need one. I mean, in terms of an intimate.
But that's not what we're not actually talking about intimate yet. We'll get there. What we're talking about.
Was.
Yeah. But we're talking about what the words you chose. See, because it's very interesting to reveal to yourself the words you choose, right? You said, I think there should be more men that I'm attracted to that I want to love, right? And we said, out of the men you meet, what percentage of them are you attracted to? And you went to, oh, there only needs to be one. And we're still waiting for the answer to the first question. Because that's going to help you to know that.
Yeah, I guess attraction on what level?
You see?
And attraction as the potential
yeah,
partner
yeah.
or just attraction as a person?
Exactly. Right? So what we're revealing to you, hopefully, and we will work with, you're not going away yet. So here's you, right? There's men out there, scattered, mostly at Whole Foods. We like to somehow send you to Whole Foods for men. We don't know why. Go grocery shopping at Whole Foods for men. Anyway, here's you. There's the Whole Foods of men out there. And for those folks listening on the internet who don't know what a Whole Foods is, it's a grocery store. Okay, so here's you. And all the things between you and attracting a man that you could be friends with, a man that you could play badminton with, a man that you could have as a lover, a man that you could marry, whatever you want, are these little layers that you put in. So it's the first one that you revealed to us is sometimes I meet men that I feel like I can love and sometimes I meet men that I don't. Okay. We think that's normal, right? So that one we don't have a problem with. Doesn't generate static is what we call it. But then you went to, I think there should be a higher percentage of the ones I meet that I'm actually attracted to. Okay, so now all of a sudden there's this like staticky sound that's, I just met 10 men. I should be attracted to more of them. And so then it becomes about the fact that you're not attracted to them more than what is true now. What is true now isn't not attracted to him, not attracted to him, not attracted to him. He may be him. I'd like to have a conversation with him, and I think he's a dentist. I want to talk to a dentist anyway, right? Instead of it being about whatever happens to be true about these guys, it becomes there's some magical percentage I have in my mind, and they're not meeting it. Therefore, I'm going to beat up on myself or feel despondent and discouraged, right? And we talked to you about this last time where we said go out and look at men and decide if you're attracted to them. What did we tell you to do? We can't remember exactly what it was. There was a little exercise.
Yeah, about not making a list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, and opening up the heart.
Good. So you're not making a list, which is progress, but now you've got this fantasy percentage in your brain.
And I'm curious about the heart.
Yeah. What we have a strong suspicion of is that your heart's just fine, right? But between your heart and the available men on the planet that you're going to encounter, you're throwing up a lot of static to justify staying away from them. And you need to catch that static. This is where the notebook tool would help you. Catch that static popping up. Oh, I met some guys and I felt like I should be attracted to more of them and I wasn't. And that became my obsession. Instead of what is true now, what is true about them, who are they, what kind of story is their story? We'll tell a secret. Maybe we've told you guys this one before. We don't remember, but you bring it up in us. Veronica, when she was, very concerned with these same concerns, she was just like, she just said there's no men in the world. She literally had convinced herself. So we made her go and take a big long walk and count the men. Now, a lot of people think it's really great that Veronica gets to hang out with us all the time. And a lot of times she thinks it's great too. But sometimes in this condition, she's because she got to 30 and she was like, okay, fine, there are men in the world. And we're keep counting. All right. We didn't let her off the hook that early. Because for her, just acknowledging there were penises on the planet was a big deal. Because she had just been so not engaging with men for a long time. Similar kind of thing with you, right? Like there are men walking the planet, and you have, when you see a man, there's this cascading response to him that isn't actually asking what is true now. So what we'd like you to do is when you see a man, what is true now? And then when you determine what is true now, let's say you see a man, what is true now? He's shorter than me, and I don't find myself sexually drawn to him, right? And then see how you judge yourself about your assessment. There's a difference between assessment and judgment, right? There's a difference. Assessment can be like, I just don't have any kismet with the guy, right? Nothing's getting exciting. That doesn't make him wrong or you wrong. It just means you don't have any juicy with the guy. But what you have done, that you've shown us, is that you see a guy, maybe you think he's attractive. All right, we're going to go down the attractive category. You find him attractive in some way. And then we believe last time you talked about, I don't think he'll want to be monogamous, or I don't think he's this, or I don't think he's that. And that's what we believe we told you, maybe like actually find out his name first before you decide all those things about him, right? Wasn't that the guess? We asked you?
Good.
Yeah, to just like find out his name. And you don't even have to find out his name. Maybe we'll back off that. But you can at least say, in your little notebook, I saw a man at the Whole Foods. He was taller than me. He had brown hair. He was wearing red shoes. I thought he might be interesting to know more. When I thought that, what is true now? It scared me. It scared me. Or it reminded me of my last lover. Or I don't think he liked me because he didn't look at me. Or whatever's really true for you. Now, very careful. When you write down what is true for you, you don't get to beat yourself up about your truth, right? Because what we want to be aware of is the truth that's processing in you, not, okay, good excuse to be mean to myself because I thought that he didn't like me, or I thought that guy was too fat for me, or, I judged him. Difference between assessing and judging. Assessing is becoming aware of what you see. Judging is saying it's bad or wrong. We like to say you can have preferences. You can have a preference. But you don't get to judge. Preference is, I prefer chocolate ice cream. Right? Judgment is, vanilla ice cream's bad. State what you want. You see a man, I like the way he dresses. I'd like a man in my life that dresses nicely like that. Oh, I like that one's tall. I'd like one in my life that's tall like that. And then, what is true now that I've been aware of that assessment? Because what we believe you're going to find is that you're really being mean to yourself when you start thinking about men. You're finding ways to put yourself down whenever you're interacting or thinking about men.
I know there's something going on.
Yeah. That's what it looks like to us. So you see the guy, you don't like him, you judge yourself for judging. You see a guy that you do like, you fear that your heart's not ready. Or he's not going to want to be XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. So whether you like him or not, you get to be mean to yourself. You're the one who always loses in this. So no wonder you don't have a guy, right? Because you've equated guy with mean to myself. He doesn't even have to come along and be mean to you because you're doing it all. You're just taking care of all. You're playing all roles in the relationship.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's like, I am done. Can you see? She's like, I want out of this chair right now. Yeah.
No, I mean it. Thank you.
No, we know. So practice, and we'd like you to write it down. We know we've been harping on the write it down thing, but part of the write it down thing is if you do it for a week, right, just 7 days, at the end of 7 days, you can read it again and go, whoa. But like Randy pointed out, we bet it doesn't even take 7 days for you to start catching some of these underlying patterns. And when you start catching the underlying patterns, those ones go away, more are revealed, and pretty soon there's none left. And you can just be you. And you can stand there in a circle of men going, man, 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 tall, short, fat, blonde, brown. And all those things are just facts. They don't tell you who you are. They're just facts. It's just information. It's like opening the encyclopedia, right? When you open the encyclopedia and you read about the different things in the encyclopedia, that doesn't tell you to be mean to yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You guys see that? But when you go out and you catalog men, you're telling yourself to be mean to yourself about that catalogization. That's not a word, but it's okay. Right? Be more like an encyclopedia. We've never told anybody that before. Miss Mary George, you're very welcome. How are we doing on time? It feels like we've been here a long, long time, but it could be just not.
Time is moving very slowly.
Yeah, how long have we been here?
80 minutes.
Okay. Probably have time for one more. Who's just over there going, okay, that's how we like them. We like not to have to ask twice. Well, hello there.
Hi.
We haven't met you before, have we?
No.
We didn't think so. How are you? Mm-hmm. It's a good answer. What's your question? Mm-hmm. It's very noisy. Animal, vegetable, or mineral? Man, woman, or child? Money? What's the other thing? Time, money, dirt. I don't have a job. I don't know where to live. Which one is it? These are the top 9, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the question is.
Yeah.
I think I finally came to sit, which is not really, there was not a lot of agreement here that that's what I wanted to do.
Sit up here with us, you mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You did it very forcefully, though. You stepped up.
It was probably the resilience.
Ah, I can do it. I can suck this up. Yeah. Well, so what's the mean thing you're saying to yourself?
One?
Pick one. We'll start at the top. Whichever first comes to mind.
Okay, I caught myself saying at one point today, I don't know that this is that mean to me, but I'm a little fascinated by it. I said I was fragile today.
Mm-hmm. And when you say you're fragile, can you say that from a place of, I have a brown shirt on? Or is it from a place...
I'm doing that now.
Yeah, but then you didn't.
No, not so much.
Yeah. So I'm fragile means I'm weak. Or I means I'm bad. There's a badness about fragile.
There's an out of control a little bit about fragile.
Okay.
Was what I felt in the moment.
So how about instead of fragile, because we actually think fragile is an interesting state, how about we say I feel out of control? You can feel into I feel out of control. Yeah. Why'd we even ask?
Oh boy, can I?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Can I feel into I feel out of control? No. Okay. Your left arm, how's it doing? Because it feels a little weird to us. I feel out of control about what's going on in your head that it takes that long to answer? Are you thinking of options or are you blank?
I'm more blank than thinking of options right now.
That's preferable. Yeah. So what if the I'm out of control energy is in the past and we don't have to have it here in the moment with us?
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. What if it's just true that you felt out of control earlier today? What if that's the short factual statement? Earlier today, I felt fragile and out of control. Period. Right? What if that's just the statement? And then you say, what is true now? What is true now is I don't seem to feel that way right now. Right? Because we don't need to bring it forward. It happened, but we don't need to bring it forward. Mm-hmm. So you're sitting over there on the cushion, and we say, who's next? What made you jump up? What made you stand up?
Fascination with energetics.
Okay.
And
yeah.
That's
your truth in this moment. So there's your what is true now. What is true now is I'm fascinated by energetics and I want to explore that. Mm-hmm. So when you sat down and we said, what's your question? This is a really good example of tapping into what is true now. Because if she had tapped into what is true now, she would have been able to sit down and say, I'm really fascinated by energetics. And we'd have gone, so are we. And then we could have had about what is really going on and is alive in you in this moment.
I was waiting to form it in the form of a question.
Yeah.
And there's truth in that. There's that place where it's like, I don't know how. I thought a question would come.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, what we really like, and you're new to our circle, so you don't know this about us, but what we really dig is when people can say, I don't know. We find that a very powerful place.
Gosh, you're going to like me.
Because the thing about I don't know is that means you're not thinking. And oftentimes the mind has given you all it can give you, and really insight is what you're after. Insight from your soul is what we call it. The aha, that thing you get in the shower where you go, oh, yeah. So a very powerful thing to do in this case, like let's just pretend, we'll rewind. You sat down, right? Now with all that getting to know each other out of the way. And we said, so hi, what's your question?
I don't know.
Cool. Right? Then we're not in the past. We're not in, this happened to me earlier today. We're not in blank mind, I don't know what to say. Because we're in the truth of I don't know what to say, which is I don't know. And then we would look at your energy field, and we'd probably start talking about energy anyway, because that's what we talk about a lot. See how that works? So there's something incredibly empowering by saying I don't know. One of the great things about I don't know is it brings you into the moment. So at least you're in the moment. You're starting from an in the moment place. Yay! Starting from in the moment's a good thing. Because if you start from in the moment, you have the best chance of actually having an authentic experience that doesn't have the past or the future in it. And I don't know is only valid in the moment. It's about the moment. I don't know. How fun that is? So there's a little energy story for you, right? I don't know brings me into the moment. Then you can ask yourself, what is true now? So if we said to you, what is true now?
Now I'm curious about my left arm.
See?
It felt pretty okay to me until you said that.
And all of a sudden now she has a question. You see? Because we came into the moment. Once we got into the moment and we said, what is true now? You had a question. Yeah. And part of what's going on with your left arm is just the receiving of our energy exploration of you. We could just feel it going into you, and you kind of going, is this what we're doing? Is this why I'm here? Is this what I came for? Am I sure this is what I want to do?
Same questions I have all the time.
Yeah. That's all that's going on with your left arm. It's not going to fall off or anything like that. So that's what we're talking about, right? That's how this can flow. So what is true now? Now you've expressed that you had an interest about your arm. Okay, we talked about that. So we say, what is true now?
It's about not being in a writing flow. I've been writing a lot, and it seems a little elusive right now. I don't know that I know how to ask a question, but there's the subject.
Yeah. So do you write as a profession or as a profession? Okay.
Well, as much as writers get to write. Occasionally I get paid for it.
Nice.
And I just moved. So there's a part of it where at first it's like, okay, I just moved. It's starting to form a question.
See,
now.
that's resiliency again. It's like I'll somehow overcome the fact that I just moved and it's making me have writer's block or whatever. We are going to have to work on this because we're not explaining it 100. We don't feel like we're explaining it well. Does anybody feel like we've explained it well so far? Kind of not. You get it? It's still floating. It's still floating. We're going to have to come up with some badass tools on this one because this is a big deal.
So that's interesting because I felt like I was letting myself off the hook and not using that term that you used that I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
That I was not writing.
It was.
Writer's block.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't going to use that.
Okay. Yeah.
It was more like I was giving myself space to find who am I now and how's it going to work in my life now.
Sure. And we would like it if you would have used those words to describe your state instead of saying, I just moved. As if I just moved gets to be the reason I stopped rather than I'm giving myself space. You see, that's what we mean is I'm giving my space. That's the truth. I just moved as a fact, right? Which is a great fact. I just moved. But the truth, the actual thing, the operating aspect of it is I'm giving myself the opportunity to get used to my space. I'm giving myself the opportunity to get into a new flow.
And the people who occasionally pay me might not be giving me quite as much space.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
they
have
want
deadlines.
You have deadlines. Yeah. Yeah. Deadlines are motivating. We've seen that. Okay. So you have deadlines. You're giving yourself space. So the block, or we don't want to use that other term, but the since you don't like
can.
it, well,
You can.
okay.
I
Well,
don't care.
the hesitation then to write
Mm-hmm.
comes from not interested, not passionate, sick of writing these things for these people.
I think because I have so much latitude with what I write about,
Mm-hmm.
I think that passion and clarity might have something to do
Okay.
with it.
So some structure, coming to some structure within yourself about it might be helpful. One of the most interesting ways to come to structure is to start with I don't know. Because, again, I don't know brings you into the moment, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of it being like, I have to have this thing out here that I have to pull into me, how about it's like a fountain. What fountains up? Mm-hmm. So what we would think would be interesting is sit down, start with something, and just put I don't know. And then write about the fact of I don't knowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Write about I don't knowing. I don't knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's not really a fountain, but I actually feel a tiny squirt. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, not that kind.
What's
It's just tiny anyway.
Yeah, but the idea of what's it like to live in I don't knowing? You know, because everyone wants to live in knowing, certainty. We love uncertainty because it's actually real. Mm-hmm. You know, you're as uncertain now, and you'll be uncertain every moment of every day of your life.
That has been my experience thus far.
Yeah. And the great thing about when you make friends with uncertainty, because it's real. You can't control anything that's going on, in the sense you can't control what hair falls out of your head next, right? So that's uncertainty. There's a huge amount of uncertainty in the human experience, but you're taught to put blinders on about it and to pretend it's not there and to strive for certainty instead. When you make friends with uncertainty, we have a whole series of talks about uncertainty on the website that are very helpful. When you make friends with uncertainty, then all of a sudden you stop this impossible dream of grabbing certainty and you recline into clarity. And clarity is very interestingly expressed. We've never said this to anyone else before, of the I don't knowing place. Rather than the knowing place. The it'll be this way, it's going to be like that. The I don't knowing place. What happens if I admit I'm in the I don't knowing place?
So who do I give credit for half the article?
You can link to our website.
I'm not sure they'll let me do that.
Okay.
But it's like, it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you send us a copy and Veronica puts it on the website as like a guest author. You can be a guest author on our website. The idea of I'm going to talk about living in the I don't knowing. Mm-hmm. We like that. We've never said that to anybody else. So you drew that out of us, the I don't knowing. Because there's just a magic when you admit to yourself the truth. When you admit the truth to yourself, there's so much power in that. Mm-hmm. My truth is. We have 100, 200, we don't even know how many tools that we've given people over the last 10 years. We got books over there with them in there. And the most powerful, most important, if you're only going to use one, what is true now? Cuts the past out, cuts the future out, cuts out the hamster wheel mind, drops you from trying to find certainty because you just want to get the clarity of the moment. It does so many powerful things, but it's simple, so people think, eh. But that's why we said to you in the notebook tool, what do we say? You write down what's in your brain and you ask what's true now. Because what you're doing is uncovering what's really going on. And like Randy said, she went from having 100 obsessive thoughts about money every day for as long as we've known her, which is like 7 years, to having 3 after a week of doing the notebook tool. I think anybody would invest a week to get that kind of result. Because of the power of what is true now. And then we'll just warn you. Warn you. When you discover what is true now, sometimes there's more under there that you've been hiding for a long time. But the great thing is you have the skills to attend to what you discover. And it's classically like a hard drive on your computer. If your hard drive's full, your computer doesn't want to work good, right? And you can't put new stuff on it. You clear your hard drive off, you can actually work really well. And new stuff can come in. So if you want new stuff in your life, you got to clear out the bzzz, we call it static, we call it hamster wheel mind. And the resulting empty space is clarity and not certainty. You're welcome. Well, it's been a joy to meet all of you and spend time with you, and we hope that you folks will come around again. We're going to be here someplace in Sebastopol on the second Saturday of next month as well. And if you ever feel like coming to Sonoma, Gwen has all the details, and we'd love to have you guys come over to Sonoma, meet the rest of the crew. Yeah. Good work, everybody. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.